Right then, this is a quick walk around video, and this is for a Honda CR-V 2.2 EX diesel. This particular car has covered just 43,000 miles, finished in this beautiful passion red pearl, which looks absolutely stunning on the car. It comes with a full service history, and we'll be going for a new MOT later today hopefully. Front of the car really clean, lights and lenses clear, intact, no cracks or condensation in anything there. Front bumper very clean, as is the bonnet, exceptionally clean on there, hardly a stone chip of any note. It's just starting to drizzle a little bit, so I'm going to do this a little bit quicker than normal. It is a lovely clean car, so I'm not going to miss anything. Near side of the vehicle, really smooth in the panel work, can't see any obvious indentations there at all. Near side front alloy, really good on the metalwork there. And then, by the way, 2 front tyres have been replaced this morning as well, as part of the preparation of the vehicle. Near side rear alloy, again, absolutely fantastic. You can see just how clean and smooth that panel work actually is. Come around the back of the car, again, all very good indeed. And then offside the vehicle, wonderfully smooth in the panels. This is one of these colours that looks fantastic in all sorts of lights as well. When the sun's out, it really gleams as well. Offside rear alloy, absolutely perfect. And the rear panel looks really lovely. And then final alloy, really good as well. Just a tiny little bit of marking right on the outside edge, but that's pretty much it. Externally, the car is in absolutely superb condition. It's coming inside the boot area now. Huge boots on the CR-Vs, and most CR-Vs are used very heavily in the back because that's what they're designed for. But this has hardly been used in the back at all. It's wonderful original condition in the back here. It's coming into the back now. Seats in the front, by the way, except for me, and I'm 6 foot tall. That shows you just how much legroom you get in these things. They're almost limousine-like, absolutely incredible. And the leatherwork in the back looks almost as new. It's in just stunning condition back here. Passenger door card, again, really clean. Footwell areas all around the car, absolutely pristine as well. And then front passenger seat, there you can see, passenger seat. Again, hardly any use at all on it. So finally coming to the driver's door card, again, absolutely clean as a whistle. Likewise, all the footwell areas, and the driver's seat is in absolutely stunning condition. So sat inside the car now, engine's running through this section. I've just beaten the rain on the outside, it's just starting to go there. Dashboard looks absolutely factory fresh, looks wonderfully clean. Sat nav, as you can see there, working absolutely perfectly. I'll pop the car into reverse, trying to wobble the camera too much. You get that lovely clear gridded parking camera as well, but it's been kept simply beautifully in here. All the little recesses, everything. Very good sign of ownership. Coming to the dashboard, you can see 43,470 miles on the 407 miles on the clock. The only warning light on, which illuminates the eye, by the way, is the low fuel light on the car. Obviously, fuel in the car, and that disappears. Steering wheel looks and feels absolutely as new in hand, but it really is in fabulous condition. Just quickly show you, owner's manual pack and lock and wheel nut key, both here and present with the car. Right then, this is a quick road test video, and this is for a Honda CR-V 2.2 EX diesel. This one's registered PN13BYM, and mileage at the start of the road test is 43,407 miles. The reason for doing these videos, as I say in all of them, is very simple. It's basically that we want customers who are looking at our adverts online to actually see the vehicles in operation. We know to our costs just how frustrating it can be to go and see a car which can look great in the description and in the photographs, only to get there to find out it's got a fundamental issue, which may or may not have stopped you going to see the vehicle, but hence that's why we do it. So it is critical in that sense. The road test is also done on part of the road test route any prospective buyer would go on if offered a test drive. The reason for that is that we hope that'd be representative of what you would feel yourself when driving the car. The car has been wonderfully well looked after in every way, really, and it shows in the way the car drives, because it just feels, as cliched as it sounds, as close to new as you could ever expect a used car to feel. It just feels incredibly tight and taut. The engine starts, as they always do, instantly. Press of a button with the EX model. It settles to an absolutely smooth, even idle. Temperature gauge, it's been running for some time now, running as a third, which is exactly where it's meant to be on a Honda car, by the way. The only warning light on the dashboard is for low fuel, as I mentioned in the walk around video. Obviously a bit of fuel in the car will soon extinguish that. But the engines are lovely, and this is a really sweet engine, this 2.2. The power delivery is just fantastic, because a lot of diesels, especially smaller capacity ones, tend to be kind of one-trick ponies. They feel quick, but then you put your foot down and they kind of fall off a cliff in terms of the power delivery. This gives you power and torque basically all the way through the rev range. You've got loads of torque at low revs, just brush the throttle and it's up and away, but you keep your foot down and it keeps going. It was a really impressive engine, but also it does it in such a smooth way. The engine feels, when you're on the move, every bit as if it was a petrol. It's got a very sort of smooth engine note to it. It's a lovely unit, and of course the cam chain driven. There's no cam belts on these Honda diesels to worry about, so no scheduled service of those ever. The engine then feeds through clutch into gearbox. Clutch on the car, absolutely perfect, as you'd expect with this mileage. Smooth in actuation, bike points exactly where it's meant to be. The gearbox is sensational, really, for a car this type. I love the gear lever being up in this position rather than down here. It just falls so much more naturally to hand as well, by the way, and the actual actuation feels much more natural. But the linkage feels brand new. But even still, the quality of gear shift is akin to a sports car, because it's got that really short throw to the gear lever. Very precise, snappy action, brilliant synchromesh, lovely springing between the gears. It's pretty much the perfect gearbox for those that love this kind of thing, and Honda do this really well, and I can detect no wear in it at all. Steering on the car, again, just feels really tight and taut on the vehicle, and it doesn't feel like there's any wear in it at all. It also tracks absolutely dead straight. There's no vibrations coming back to the steering wheel at this speed, or any speed up to the legal limit for that matter. But it's what it also gives you is, when you go through the corners, there's not a lot of movement required to go through. It's quite a small diameter steering wheel, but it flows with the chassis. It's really nicely done. The chassis of the vehicle, Honda should know this market intimately, of course, because the CR-V is the best-selling SUV in the world. And what they give you is a pretty much perfect compromise between body control and handling in inverted commas, and ride comfort. It gives you a really comfortable, compliant ride, but much more importantly, with a relatively high-up vehicle, it gives you fantastic body control through the corners, so you get far less pitching and wallowing than you do with some of its competitors' makes rather. And that's particularly important for rear seat passengers, who tend to have their noses sort of planted in phones and screens and all sorts of stuff. So any kind of swaying or motion, you only feel, you tend not to anticipate, and it can make for some very nauseous passengers in the back. But in the CR-Vs, it's really well done. There's also no nasty sort of clunks at all from underneath the vehicle, all very smooth and quiet in that respect. Worth pointing out, as I said in the walk-around video, it will be going for possibly today an independent MOT, so it'll pick up on all these things anyway. Brakes on the car, it's a really nice solid brake pedal on the vehicle. What I'm looking for in that initial application is for any kind of vibrations or pulsing on the brake pedal, and there's nothing at all. It's all exactly as it should be. Looking around inside the car, it feels like new in here. It's got that lovely sort of freshness to it. Dashboards are brilliant in these things because they're very, very highly equipped cars, these EX models, but it doesn't intimidate in any way. You just get in, drive it. It's all very easy to operate. Sat nav working perfectly, as you can see. You've got dual zone climate control system with different temperatures side to side. Ice cold air coming out from the air conditioning system as well. All the switch gear's got a lovely quality of actuation to it. They are beautifully made cars. They really, really are. Really solid feeling vehicle inside. Dashboard, simplicity itself, minimal information. It's all you need. You know, your rev counter, your gauges for fuel and temperature, and your speedo there. There's an information display pod in the middle giving you various other information should you choose to sort of select if you want to at any point. The steering wheel just is, as I said, it's lovely and small in diameter. Makes the car, strangely enough, feel much more manoeuvrable when it's like that. And the steering wheel feels as new. It's got that lovely sort of freshness again to the feel of it. So it's not always the case, because, you know, if people have got rings or wearing gloves and got a bit grubby, then they can just feel a bit tired and old. But it's only a small point, but just again a nice sign of ownership on the car. They are four-wheel drive vehicles, these 22EXs. There are no buttons to select it, of course, because basically Honda worked out very quickly the vast majority of people in this marketplace basically will be driving as I am today in perfectly good conditions, so there's no need to have four-wheel drive whirring away constantly as it does on some cars, because all that actually achieves is using extra fuel, getting through your tyres more quickly, and obviously putting a lot more mechanical stress through the car. So basically, should it need to go into four-wheel drive, you know, snow, ice, bit of mud, or towing a caravan across a muddy field, as I tend to do, then if it detects the front wheel starting to slip, it instantly brings in the rears to give you four-wheel drive, and it's seamless. You don't feel it, but what you feel is grip. Basically, you suddenly feel like I'm gripping and going, and I've never come close to getting stuck with one of them. And the simplicity of the system gives it its reliability, because in all our time we've never so much as put a spanner on one of them. It's an incredibly tough system. As I said at the start of the video, brief as it may be, it is literally just to show the car in operation. I've got a CR-V 2.2 EX exactly the same as this, albeit with higher mileage currently. So I know exactly how they drive, but we've been selling them for well over 20 years, and if there was something amiss with the drive of the car, we'd pick up on it, hopefully. It drives absolutely beautifully. It really, really does. Whoever's lucky enough to get it next will be getting a very, very fine car indeed. As always though, if you've got any questions about the car, don't hesitate, do give us a call.